It's ready to. Oh, we're live.
Yay,
We
we're
are
live.
live.
Hi,
Woohoo!
everyone. Happy Friday.
Donna and
Happy
Cheryl
Pot
TV with
Friday.
Yvette and Mel.
Who do you want to mimic? Who do you dare
Yeah.
mimic? Do you want to be Cheryl or do you want to be Donna?
That's a really good question, actually. I don't know. I think I'd be Cheryl today, but then
Okay.
maybe Donna another day.
I'm not going to attempt an impression because we might get into trouble.
Yeah, I know, right? I was going to try and do the accent, but I just can't. I can't do it. I can't. I ended up
Yeah, I wouldn't run that risk.
I know, I ended up sounding like I was Welsh.
Yeah, Welsh or Indian sometimes gets confused when people do Geordie accents, but
Yeah, it's hilarious. I remember when I first moved here, like 20 years ago, and I couldn't believe for such a small country it had so many different accents.
Yeah, I know, it's bonkers, isn't it?
No.
And nobody can mimic each other's very well. Well, a few people can, but yeah.
So
So here
what
we are.
this week then about fun? Like you can still have fun if you're the boss, all the friendship. Oh, hi Brooke. Brooke's online. Yeah.
Hi, Brooke.
Yeah, and I know. Well, there was one lunchtime live that I missed and one that you missed, but I think the one that I absolutely loved was Steve's yesterday, because it's just that
Right.
he brought fun into his job. I mean, he's got this like adventure business. I mean, like he was just this big ball, this oozing big ball of joyousness. You know, he got to do
Yeah.
exactly what he wanted day to day. I mean, that's the dream, right?
Oh my God, it is. It is. And it's kind of hard, I think, to equate fun with work because I do think it's drilled into us that work is hard. And if you're laughing at work or having like openly having fun, then you're not taking your work seriously. I know I've had that feedback personally from a manager who's like, you do talk a lot. Oh, really? That's because I'm in human resources. Might be something about connection there and talking to people.
Yeah.
But that thing of, the kind of peering out from behind his pile of papers, kind of going, is someone laughing in my office out there?
Yeah, oh God forbid.
Frowned upon. You're not projecting. I've had this feedback as well. Think about the image that you're projecting if you're laughing and smiling.
Oh my God, wouldn't it be awful if everybody just took that advice and walked around like a mardy ass all day?
Yeah, but that makes me feel important. If I'm serious and I'm not having fun, I'm important and you will respect me.
Oh, for goodness sake.
It's not like that where I'm working now, thank God. We have a really good laugh, which I think you need to in HR because there's no funnier than folk. But yeah, to do what you do every day and really love it. And I mean, Donna and Cheryl say, don't there? Some days it's just not work. They don't
Yeah.
not work to them. So what else
Yeah.
was Steve saying? And apologies for missing it.
Oh no, don't worry. He was just saying how he'd kind of taken the same journey that a lot of people in the soul system have. You know, reached a certain age, decided to give up his corporate life. Him and his wife, one of the things he was saying is that fun has always been the outcome. So it doesn't matter what they're doing. He was saying they could just be going out for the day, or they could be going on like a full-on mission, you know, to the outer Bundu somewhere, you know, and he said the outcome's always been fun, and they've instilled it in their kids as well. And he said it's just lovely because kids' memories are different to ours. And he was saying one of his children, you know, remembers like the real detail of sitting in this camp with these indigenous people in, I can't remember where he said it was, somewhere far flung, you know, and this little kid remembers that experience and eating you know, rice and fish with these guys. And I mean, how cool is that, you know?
Oh, that is just mind-blowingly cool for a kid. But
I
it's
know.
interesting what you say about what they remember, because I think I haven't counted up, but we must be in double figures now for how many times the kids have had the best day ever in lockdown because we've had a bit of fun, because
Yeah.
we've had a bit of a laugh.
Yeah.
I mean, they were sent outside this morning with the hose pipe because I had work calls. Just go outside with the hose pipe. they've had the best day ever in lockdown because they were on. They had a free reign with a hose pipe in the back garden.
Superb. There was at the beginning of the week as well. There was oh gosh, Dave, and he was talking about similar to what you were saying about being yourself in a work environment.
Yeah.
I don't know what your take on that was, but it was really amazing because he was one of those guys that just seemed really in touch with who he really was, you know, and then, you know, he's just brought that to his work, which is great.
Yeah. And I think that is so important because if you're wearing a mask all day and you're not being yourself, then you don't stand a chance, I think, of having any fun. And if you are yourself, then it just goes back to that point, doesn't it? If you're yourself, people will choose whether they like you or they don't like you. And being yourself shouldn't bear any relation to how good or bad you are at what you deliver at work.
Yeah.
And I get that, you know, you might not ball into a meeting with senior managers effing and jeffing and, well, guess how much I had to drink last night, huh? There might be, you know, a slight mask, but at the end of the day, you know, if you're a fun-loving, gregarious, outgoing person who likes to chat, likes a bit of banter, you know, puts people at ease, be like that.
Yeah.
Don't pretend that you're a structure and you don't, you know, you never smile at work and you don't really engage in chit chat because that's not what you believe you should do at work. Just go out there and be yourself, because otherwise you're not going to be happy.
I think that's part of the whole building networks as well, though, isn't it? Because I think you soon find out who your like-minded tribe are at work, because it doesn't matter that you're at work and if you're in a corporate situation. The amount of when I was at P&O Cruises, the amount of tree hugging hippies that I found just by chatting to people, having a coffee or what have you, or equally people that went to Download Festival or, you know, likes a bit of rock and stuff like that, because it was Dress Down Friday and they were wearing their Download t-shirt and I was wearing my, you know, whatever. And I'd be like, oh, hey, I've been there too, you know, and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that you said this as well is that, so when I was in my late teens, early 20s, so I just moved over from South Africa to here. And in South Africa, you're on a very short leash. It's very strict parenting over there. And so I came over here and it was like, woohoo, I'm off the leash. And I, you know, go hard or go home. That was my motto then. And but I think part of that was that fun party girl as well. Was a little bit of that was, well, probably a lot of it was insecurity and hiding behind it. And whereas now, if I have fun, I know this sounds a bit nuts, but I'm actually present in my fun. Like I don't have to do a walk of shame in the morning, and I don't have to I don't have beer regrets and stuff like that. But it's not to say I don't enjoy a gin, but it's because I've chosen to consciously be in a fun situation, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. For years and years, I think my mask was drunkenness. So, and when I look back, it was definitely, I had to be hammered when I was out with people, because if I wasn't, what if I was really boring? Or what if I was a bit of a, I can't actually think of a polite word. Just a bit of an arse, maybe, you know. And then you kind of grow up and you potentially, and you look back and you go, maybe you were a bit more of an arse when you were drunk all the time. Maybe actually you're more fun just making sense when you're talking. But at the time it was like, no, I'm just fun. But fun for me always had to be fun pissed.
Yeah, exactly. And last man standing as well. It was last man standing.
Wearing the badge of honor that you could keep going with, like the toughest of the tough. Kind of, you know, I remember being quite honored when I was living in Bangkok. A group of the lads, and their nicknames were the Hounds, right? Ooh. And I was so honored when I was called a hound. I'm like, yeah, I'm a hound. Yeah, but your hair's in a dreadful condition. Your eyes are halfway down your face. You can't remember what happened yesterday. Is that actually something to aspire to? So now, clean fun, and I'm not saying, you know, I'm completely booze free, but now like I have a few drinks and it's lovely, and I can remember what happened, and actually the fun comes from genuinely connecting with people. You can remember them, the conversations flow better. You're more connected, like you say, you're more present, and fun's taken on a completely different meaning for me now. It kind of goes hand in hand with like laughing, being relaxed, being yourself. It doesn't necessarily come from being out. And then I was on a call with Cheryl on Wednesday, and we were talking about this element of myself as well. And I kind of realized that fun doesn't even have to be going out and doing something. Fun can be spending an hour doing self-development and just looking inwards and really enjoying that process and enjoying what comes out and finishing the piece of work and going, really enjoyed that. It's quite good fun actually, and relaxing into it. So I think this week I've really been reflecting a lot on fun, how I get it, what it means.
It sounds like you're going to build it into your life as a pillar. Yeah. And
fun with the kids, you know.
Oh, sorry, carry on.
Yeah. No, go on.
So Anne was just saying, in our business, fun is part of our mission statement. That's so cool. So if you're not having fun, you're not doing it properly. I love that. Also, as a head girl, I was told I must not have fun as the others would not take me seriously. I said, get rid of me then. And actually people did as I asked. Oh, nice. That's brilliant. I love that. Love the rebellious as well.
Yeah, but Anne, you've hit the nail on the head. What is this thing about if you're having fun, other people don't take you seriously? I think we've just got to get rid of that, you know, blow that one up as a myth. I remember reading a book on emotional intelligence, and they were saying happy people are perceived as being a little less intelligent than others.
Isn't it?
It's absolutely crazy. They're not as hard work. And they're generally happier people can sometimes be taken advantage of because people assume if they're happy, they're also easygoing, they're maybe a bit gullible, you know. And yeah, again, we've just got to blow that one apart, haven't we? Because it's just not true. And what Tanya was saying to us yesterday about this fifth dimensional energy being about love and about connection. And I'm wondering actually, as we move away from this more hardcore world of fear, which is one of the references she made, that people will start saying, yeah, actually, let's have a bit of fun. I don't know if it's happened to you, Yvette, while you were working, and if you were ever on a Zoom call with your work colleagues, and people are so much more relaxed because people's kids have walked in halfway through, or their dog started barking, or somebody's turned up at the door with a parcel and everyone's like, oh, sorry, excuse me, I'm out, you know. People's kids wandering in saying the most ridiculous things or having a meltdown, and people on the call with you are just so like, it's happening.
It's
so I'm wondering whether
and people have almost dropped that corporate persona, because when your kids are rollerblading on the floor behind you, you know, which one of the ladies that I worked with had, bless her, she had her two little girls doing this, waving at the camera as they were going past while she was on screen, which was just brilliant. I tell you what,
my boss has had her daughters on the trampoline, occasionally just going woo behind her. Woo. And I've had to turn around. I've been on a call with the director and like and then kind of gone, no, you can't put the rats back. You can't get the rats out now. Anyway, as I was saying, and he was just laughing.
Back to the business at hand. No, I think one of the things that's highlighted for me as well is because where I'm in that in between stage between launching my business and finding a job and all of those things. I've got my family who are sometimes, they're great fun. We deal with everything with humour. but they are also very serious as well. So I've got some members of my family sort of going, oh, Yvette, are you all right? You know, what plans have you got in place? What jobs have you applied? You know, like really serious.
Mm.
And I feel
Yeah.
like I'm having the best time of my life right now because I'm totally in my creative flow. I'm loving, you know, doing what I'm doing with the business side of things.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm thinking, you know, for me, I've almost had to rein my fun bunny back in when I'm around my family because they're expecting me to be all like, oh God, you know, the job market shit, everything. Oh, sorry, I've sworn already. Anyway, the job market is rubbish, you know, this, that, and the other. And actually, I think the way that I'm getting through this is with fun.
Yeah.
And really
Yeah.
easy to kind of go down that route of because of everything that's going on, not just like in your own personal space, but with COVID and everything else, you know, more so now than ever, we've got to figure out what our fun buttons are. Oh, I like to call them fun buttons, and then introduce.
Yeah, absolutely. When I was unemployed last year, and it was last summer as well, so it went from June through to the end of September. And after a couple of weeks of moping around, I kind of it felt almost rebellious to go, right, if I'm not working, I'm going to behave like I'm on holiday. So I went to the gym every day. I sat in the garden. I did a little bit of job hunting, you know, enough for the job coach to be happy with me. And I settled in to enjoy that time because you don't often get it.
Yeah.
And yeah, and people probably thought she's not taking being unemployed particularly seriously, but I was. And, you know, every time I didn't get a job, I felt a little bit deflated. But yeah, you just look for fun where you can. And a great point as well, Yvette, about at the moment as well, because you could descend into a well of misery with all this COVID stuff and people's holidays getting cancelled, etc. I think it's a really good opportunity for us to reassess where we get our fun from.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and going back to basics and simple things.
Yeah, I mean, you look at some of the stuff that's all over social media at the moment, especially with people that have got kids, all of the stuff that they're doing with their kids to create that sense of fun is almost the stuff that we did like a generation ago, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah. My kids this morning, I strictly no technology morning. So they went upstairs and I could hear giggling and carrying on. Then they shouted downstairs, "Can we use your duvet?" I'm like, okay. And they just got creative with a beanbag, a duvet. They got a couple of games out. And that's exactly what I would have been doing at that age at home with my mum in the summer holidays, because we weren't taken out and about. We didn't have the television to watch like we do nowadays. And just hearing them laughing about nothing was great. And as an adult, I think we're now, right, if I can't go out and get hammered, if I can't go out and go shopping and spend my time doing that, where am I going to get my fun from? Which is a real challenge, I think, as an adult nowadays.
Well, because nothing's new anymore.
We get used to being distracted. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. And you almost have to look at it through different eyes as if it's all a new experience. Because I was telling you just before we came live, we're going camping after this, like literally after this call, and it's with my girlfriends and their partners and that. And honest to God, the group chat has been hilarious because we're so excited because this is the first time we've done anything together all summer, and we're like, "Oh, are you packing this and doing that?" One of their birthdays, their big birthdays, so you know, we've got balloons and streamers and oh, I hope this doesn't offend anyone, but instead of pin the donkey, we've got pin the willy on Willie, you know, which and we're all like crying.
There's a question I want to ask, but I'm not going to.
No, don't, it's fine. I'll take photos and put it up later. But yeah, it's just, you know, and that I don't want to you know, put down or minimize what's happened with COVID, but almost it makes those little experiences seem you're even more grateful for them, and you're even more present with them, and you're even more involved, you know.
Yeah. We've had a bit of an epiphany with a couple of little friendship groups that I've got, where actually just getting together and sitting outside in someone's garden and having a few drinks. I think it's partly an age thing as well, Law, because we're like, oh, this is so nice, we can hear each other. That is the age bit for sure. But we like the fact that there isn't loads of crowds around and that you don't have to stand in queue at a bar and you're not too hot or too cold or whatever. It's just taking it back to just going back to chilling out and just being content with less. So a really good night out doesn't have to be a really late night out, a clubbing night out.
Yeah.
Have you seen Wendy's comment?
I know, Wendy just did it. She just thought like the worst bit, yeah.
We'll explain later, Wendy.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I kind of lost my train of thought a bit there. But yeah, just going back to more simple things. And do you know what? It was all over the news yesterday. You probably caught it as well. That the Argos catalogue will no longer be.
Oh my God, I know. What is that about?
And it's been really funny on Absolute Radio yesterday. They were saying to people, what did you used to circle in the Argos catalogue? And there was clearly a certain age group who used to do this, because it was things like the Cadbury's chocolate machine where you put the 2 pence in and you got a little chocolate out, or a Soda Stream or a Mr. Frosty.
Oh my God, Soda Streams. Yeah.
That reminded me of how much fun did you used to get sitting with the Argos catalogue or any catalogue and circling what you wanted for your birthday or what you wanted for Christmas. And it prompted, there was something on the news about going back to what we used to love and feel comfortable with, and they had images of people using CFAX on the television, teletext and CFAX and everything, and it just made me really laugh and think about all the simple things that we used to find really, really good fun, and how we're going back to that. Come on, grab your bucket and spade. We're gonna go to the beach. And we're not going to spend it for. We're going to take sandwiches that you will get sand in. We're going to take a flask. We're going to take a deck chair. We're going to sit on the beach and not do anything except be there. So yeah, pretty simple.
It's lovely, isn't it? I think it's been such a nice week as well, though, because when we started these lunchtime lives, it was all around how do you parent during COVID, and how are you dealing with lockdown from a working from home perspective, and
right, yeah,
fantastic. But they were all quite heavy topics, weren't they? Because people were in that energy at that time. And now I think actually it's just a case of, okay, let's just remind ourselves, what we're doing.
Yeah. Well, we've adapted, haven't we? Because in the beginning, everything was so new. I mean, I was practically having a nervous breakdown trying to home school and work. And people weren't sure what they were doing with what. And also, I think we still felt like it was only going to last a few weeks. But now it's more permanent.
Like, oh yeah, a few weeks.
Yeah, people have... I think they've really, really adapted, and they've started to change. And I mean, you see it on LinkedIn, for example, people commenting about they don't want to go back to their previous lifestyle of constantly rushing around, and working from home gives them that ease. And people have been saving an absolute fortune by not getting locked into these habits of going to cafes for their lunch every day and spending a fortune on eating and everything. And I think that simple life has allowed people to kind of go, hey, especially people who, like, I grew up in the late 70s and the 80s where life was really simple. But people like so some of my friends who are still in their 30s, lucky buggers, who had a slightly more modern upbringing, they're kind of going back to a more basic time. And then my nieces, who are 20 and 23, they're like, oh my God, what is this? Is this how simple life can be? This is actually quite good. And the pressure to not have eyebrows and a face on every day, I think they've quite enjoyed. So
I think and it's given people the courage, I think, to do things that they wouldn't necessarily have done before as well. And I think that's a fun thing. So I know it sounds nuts, but that whole when I dyed my hair pink, I've been wanting to do that for years, but I've never done it.
Why isn't it pink anymore?
Say again?
Pink anymore?
Oh, because I haven't had it made blonde again. It will be pink again soon, I'm sure. I've just got to order the colour.
Yeah, pink was happy hair.
What does Wendy say? Simple has always been my life. I fit COVID, albeit not with the silly rules and the fear. Oh yeah.
Actually, I totally agree with that one about fitting in with it. I think that COVID lifestyle is much more me than the one pre-COVID, which you just do because you do it without question. But what I find fascinating is the government want us to go back. It suits them now for us to go back to being like to commuting into the cities every day and this, that, and the other because of the economy. And it's really interesting that they told us to stop. They told us to lock the doors and stay inside and don't go anywhere. And they told us that for months. Now they're right, now go back out and do this. And they've completely underestimated the power of people to go, I've changed.
Yeah,
you have made me change. And I don't want to change back just because it suits you and your economy. And the battle they're going to have on their hands to get people doing what they want them to do, I think is going to be huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're using battle every day.
And I think
people.
Oh, go on.
I was just going to say, people have. I think they are collectively turning around and going, I want my life to be better. I want it to be more fun. I want it to be more relaxed. I don't want to be a slave to my job anymore. I think somebody had written an article on LinkedIn or even on Facebook saying, in praise of being the apathetic worker. He goes, no, I'm not going to work past 5 o'clock because my garden's just there. Fancy sitting in it, thanks.
Yeah,
a glass of wine. Don't mind if I do.
All the things you work for to pay for, you can finally actually, enjoy them because you've got this extra time. I mean, the guys where I work, used to work, the people that actually stayed, they've reduced everyone's pay, taking 20% of their pay, but they only work 4 days. So the whole business is off on a Friday, which I think is amazing. And there's been some, we've seen what everybody's doing on a Friday is flipping brilliant. There's people out paddle boarding, taking up all sorts of things that they wouldn't necessarily have done before.
I know, but can you imagine if for example, 4 employees had put in a flexible working request to reduce their working week to 4 days a week and be off on a Friday? They would go, no, because we've already got one person who's off on a Friday. We couldn't possibly have more than one person off on a Friday. What would the world think if the business wasn't open on a Friday? And then they do it and they go, the world's still here. The world is still turning.
And interestingly, and I don't know how much of this is myth or not, but the stories they tell from a marketing world perspective is years ago in the 50s when the advertising world really kicked off. The global economies were in a place where, the big economies, people had enough. They had what they wanted. They had a simple life, etc. And they wanted to work 4 days a week rather than 5. And it was the government with the economy that said, no, we've got to, sort this out. Colin, I'm on live. On a million different channels.
Hi, Colin.
Hi.
Don't forget your wellies for camping.
Anyway, but yeah, that's how it was all sort of born because the government wanted to boost the economy, so they started to advertise things that people didn't need to encourage people to work to buy the things that they didn't actually need, and we're kind of almost going back to where that was. Do you know what? Do you not think as well? The thing that really popped into my head was, this is a shameless link as well, but I will pop this in there. But the imposter syndrome side of things, because I've definitely had that whole, who do you think you are to be having so much fun at your age? Shouldn't you be a little bit more serious? Kind of like what we were talking about earlier, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, because I think I was suffering from that hugely when I started this new job, and not having to go into the office every day and being able to get on with my work and concentrate a little bit more has started to kick my imposter syndrome in the butt a little bit, because I can go, hang on a sec, I can do this work. Yeah. I can work from home. I can get my children engaged in something. I can deal with this. I can deal with this fear. I can carve my own path. And imposter lady, yeah, every now and again she comes up, but I'm kind of going, yeah.
Take a break.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Yeah, exactly. But it's also the coaching that we've been getting as well. You know, the Real You and getting involved in the Soul Squad is helping massively. But yeah, I think that's a really good point.
Look at this. We'll finish on this. I mean, you know, Wendy reckons we're wise. So I'm taking that, Wendy. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Not wise
absolutely. At all. Totally wise.
I'm just.
You wouldn't have thought that, Wendy, if you'd seen me falling out of a hot tub a few weeks ago, because I thought it was a really good idea to sit in it for 4 hours and drink Prosecco non-stop. Not so wise.
I've just dropped the link in as well for the imposter syndrome masterclass. I mean, we've all been on it. It's cracking, isn't it? I think, you know,
oh my God,
just do it.
Yeah. The thing about it is, even if you think you don't have it, even if you think, no, that's not me, I'm really X, Y, and Z, if you go on there, if you join the masterclass, you will recognize yourself in some way, shape, or form, and you'll be able to go, oh, that's what that is. That's and I can do something about it. Brilliant.
Yeah, that's the thing, is there's tools as well, isn't there, to try and help. It's not just a case of this jolly old identification process that you figure out that you have actually got an imposter. There's some great tools that Cheryl and Donna give to actually deal with that.
Yeah, because it shows up where you may not think it would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, half an hour is up already. Oh my God. Well, thanks everybody for joining.
We've actually been live for a bit longer. I think Thomas was right when he sent that picture of Blanche and Dorothy. We won't stop.
Yeah.
We haven't even talked about friendship.
Oh no, we didn't.
Another hour.
Anyway, I love you. You love me.
I love you too. I can't have I'm holding my phone with one hand, so. Anyway,
oh, okay.
Have a great weekend camping. Have fun out in nature.
Oh, thank you. Have a great weekend, everyone. Bye.
Yeah, have a lovely weekend. Enjoy the sun. Bye.